And we're live. We're live, according to YouTube. I did not get a chance to sound check this time around, so I hope that you can hear me. Usually I do like to sound check beforehand, but I think we're working. I hope we are. Anyway, how are you guys? We are here today to talk about episode 2 of Star Trek Discovery Season 2, entitled New Eden, directed by Mr. Frakes, the great Mr. Frakes, who he does magic behind the camera for Star Trek. Oh, and thanks for those of you who did listen to the first live. I don't really do a lot of promotion for these things. I do have some other podcasts that I do a bit heavier promotion on, and we get a lot of listeners for that, which is cool too. Just talking about movies and entertainment in general. But this is the Star Trek podcast. I do have a talking, Walking Dead live podcast too that you can check out on my channel, if that's your thing. But let's get to it. Star Trek Episode 2. What can I say? Really awesome. I enjoyed the episode. I will say this, even before that, is that I'm in a lot of Star Trek groups around the internet, mostly American ones, but also some Brazilian ones because I do live here in Brazil in the huge, amazing city of Sao Paulo, where it's raining right now. You can probably hear the raindrops outside. Give me a second here. Hello. I guess that's all right. I guess I'm hoping this sound is coming out okay. I hate when I don't do a sound check. That was stupid. But hopefully you can hear me. This microphone usually does not fail me. Don't fail me now, Mike. Don't fail me now. Anyway, yeah. So I'm in a lot of these groups, and as I've stated before, as we all know, Discovery has split. Well, I don't think it's a real split, man. I think a lot more people enjoyed it than don't enjoy it, or maybe those that don't enjoy it have just gone off into the sunset. Because I don't see as much hate for the show as I did like at the start. Um, but who knows? I actually appreciate those that criticize the show heavily because I think the producers did take some of that into consideration and have made season 2, it's slowed down a little bit. It feels like there's more space for character moments than season 1. I got that. Just that was my impression from episode 1. You can listen to that live broadcast if you want. It's should be up here somewhere for you to find. Um, I thought that was like the biggest, most noticeable change. Brighter, slower. We can get into exploration bottle type episodes, which is what Discovery needs after that long, dark, crazy first season, which I liked. I mean, I was actually someone that enjoyed Star Trek Discovery from the get go, despite some things about it that made me go, huh? Including that spore drive, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Um, so, this episode continues the arc with these red things, as Pike put it, out in the sky that's calling the Discovery, to go to them. And when they get to this one of these red things using the spore drive, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they discover a human civilization, out like what 150, 200 years away from where they are, if they were traveling, at light speed or whatever. So, by the way, yeah, spoilers, guys. This is doing a review of the episode. I sometimes I forget to say that, but this is spoiler heavy. So I hope you watched it. Look, we're 4 minutes and 40 seconds in. I'll give you another 10 seconds to get the hell out of my live feed. Of course, come back later once you've watched it. Well, you know what? I'm so nice. I'll give you another 3:54, 55. Look at that. It's 5 seconds. 8, 9, 5 minutes in, spoilers. Anyway, they get to this planet where these humans are, and you're like, well, how did these humans get here? Which wasn't exactly explained, but has something to do with these red creatures. And there are some these red lights and these angelic sort of beings that Michael has seen and has been shown in the promos and all of that. And even on the planet, there's a chapel, and in the chapel, they on the stained glass windows, there's a image of this creature, and there's some theories about this. That it might be these creatures called the Iconians, which was news to me. Apparently, it was in an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I've watched, let's say, 98% of The Next Generation, and obviously, I missed this part. It was on an episode called Contagion, and apparently, they are these very advanced ancient species whose civilization reached its peak 200,000 years before the present day. I'm reading this from a Quora article written by Randy McDonald, a lifelong fan of Star Trek. Their civilization was most famous for their gateway technology, allowing them to cross vast spaces in an instant. Given that their homeworld of Iconia was located in what is now the Romulan neutral zone, while Iconian gateways could be found as far away as the Gamma Quadrant world of Vandros 4, it seems they had great scope indeed. They had a reputation among many of their contemporaries as threats, as demons of air and darkness, and this reputation, whether earned fairly or not, led to the devastation of their homeworld. Even so, they do seem to have left descendants of some kind, as is evidenced by Data's ability to use his knowledge of the language of Denwan Dennison and Ichabod to gain a basic understanding of ancient Iconia. Now, this episode here, Contagion, was season 2, episode 11. Well, I definitely watched everything from season 2, but I can't remember most of it because it's not my favorite season of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So I may have to go back and rewatch that and look for some clues, because some people believe that these angel things that we're seeing are the Iconians, which would explain, uh, how they could travel so far um, and do all the things that they're doing all over the place. And it also says that they were mentioned in passing in a Deep Space Nine episode called To the Death, which was season 4, episode 23. So they mentioned them on that episode. Again, I watched every single episode of Deep Space Nine, but I do not remember that. But it says here, I'm on Memory Alpha, that several months ago, the Dominion science team discovered the remains of an Iconian gateway on a remote outpost world, Vandros 4. Um, Unfortunately, the science team's Jem'Hadar guards rebelled and seized control of the gateway. Wayun guesses that the equipment stolen from the Deep Space Nine station could be used to repair the gateway, which, if made operational, could enable the renegades to teleport instantaneously to any world or solar system in the galaxy. So this is building up. If they're bringing in some Iconians, which I didn't even know who the hell these creatures were, I think that it could add a really cool dimension to Star Trek Discovery. And I do remember when the show came out, before, even before it came out, that one of the creators had mentioned that we took something like that was in passing from one of the Star Treks. They didn't say which, and we built on that. Still not sure exactly what that is. I thought it might have been related to the Spore Drive, and it still might be. I mean, somebody on one of these Star Trek forums mentioned something about how Section 31 mentioned something similar to a Spore Drive in a Deep Space Nine episode. I would have to watch it again and see. I was looking online for any clues, but I've Googled every combination of Spore Drive, Star Trek reference, this, that, and I have not heard any references to the Spore Drive and how it is that it stopped being used. One theory that I did read was that perhaps using the Spore Drive interferes with these Iconians and their, gateway to get from place to place, and maybe that's a reason why the Federation stopped using it, and maybe they put a lid on it, like don't even mention that we use this. I'll tell you what, the sooner they get rid of the Spore Drive, the happier I'll be, because I just do not like it. I mean, I just kind of accepted it, and it does look cool. And I mean, the effect for it is awesome when they jump into what do they call it? Uh, Spore speed. I don't know. They jump, right? Yeah, when they jump. Um, mm. So it's a cool effect. It was nice to see like the ship twist and all that stuff, but it feels so out of place. I mean, it's my only big criticism. Well, I have a few other criticisms of Star Trek Discovery, but that's the big one. As cool as it looks, it's just so out there that for them to come to some solution as to why they stopped using the Spore Drive, and it's not mentioned at any other time in Star Trek history, it better be a damn good reason. And why would you even bring it up to begin with if you're gonna just shut it down in the future and say, "Look, this is classified now"? And wouldn't the Klingons? I guess they saw it at work, right? Wouldn't they know, or did they not actually see the Spore Drive operating? Like, did they maybe they didn't figure out that they were jumping from place to place? I don't know. Just seems kind of unnecessary. They could just warp from here to there. Um, and figure out what the heck's going on around the galaxy. But we have it. I was, and again, that's I was gonna say I've kind of alluded to one thing that I didn't like too much about this episode, and it was when they used the Spore Drive again. I was like, oh man, please, you're doing so cool without it, doing so good. And then there you go, there's Stamets again getting juiced up into the Spore Drive, and boom, they jump out to that where the transmission was being from where the transmission was coming from, and I don't know, it just didn't have the same wow feel to it. It just felt out of place because this episode felt so Trekky in so many other ways. An away mission would be the first thing, I don't think well, no, we did have that one away mission episode uh, in season one where they went to find mushrooms, I guess, or was it crystals? I don't know. That was a weird episode. It was Burnham and Saru. I think, was there a third person? Was Tyler? Is that his name? Was he with them? It was a weird episode. I don't even remember what the heck was going on in that episode. Not one of my favorites, but it was cool to just be like, okay, we have people we need to save. There's an away mission. We don't exactly understand who these people are, why they're here. So you get that mystery aspect that that we're so used to from the other Star Treks. Where they have that opening that sets up what is the big mystery, what is this episode going to be about, and then we spend the next 40 minutes trying to figure that out. So that was cool. It was cool that we got this Lieutenant Osekum. Is that how you pronounce her name? Beautiful woman, by the way. I love her hair. I'm glad she got some lines. So we got to see some of the other crew doing something. We got to see the crew up on the bridge trying to do something to help the people down on the surface. So that felt like, okay, this is Star Trek. We got that's like old school, the original series. Kirk and Spock and McCoy on the surface, Scotty's on the bridge, trying, realizing that, oh my God, the Klingons are coming, so we got to get the captain out of there as soon as we can while still fighting off these Klingons on our tail. Very old school, very, very cool track right there. So that was awesome. Pike, that's the standout of the season. He's that captain we've been needing, who's been very compassionate, very understanding, trying to draw out as much from his crew as possible, which obviously Lorca, well, evil Lorca, I mean, he was fucking great, though. Sorry, guys, sometimes some bad words sneak in here. Great actor, but, great character. I say that in the evil way, great evil character. Definitely not the model of what a Starfleet captain should be, but he was on another level, right? And so the Discoveries had trauma, and I think, given what this episode offered to us as far as Pike's in charge, everybody listens to Pike. They offer him their opinions, but Pike is the man. You contrast that with last week's episode where everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this." We even, Michael disregarded his direct order. Where in this episode, no, she's very much subservient to chain of command. It was really awesome. She didn't break the prime directive when he told her not to. He did everything he told her to do, and he thanked her at the end. I think these two episodes together kind of bridge that gap of Michael being the Miss Know It All who almost feels like the captain of the ship at times, understanding that, yes, the story is told through her perspective. So there's going to be a lot of Michael FaceTime, whether you like it or not, but also understanding that, no, she's not the top dog. In fact, she's probably what, number three, right? Because we got Pike, Saru, and maybe her after. So that's awesome. That I was cool that they acknowledged that, and they had that nice shift in the characters. I really, really, really thought that was well done, well scripted, and well directed. Of course. Um, Another thing. So yeah, the thing that I was mentioning at the start was how the majority of even the people that haven't been fans of Star Trek Discovery really, really loved this episode. I thought it was really good. I agree with them. This felt Trekish. Uh, it felt in some parts like it was trying too hard to be Trekky. I mean, I didn't get all emotional at any part, or feel like there was this great aha moment like you do get in episodes like this in original Trek, TNG especially. I mean, every away mission is a chance to learn something very valuable about life and humanity and all of that stuff. I don't think they were able to get to that level, but I give this like a strong B. I wouldn't put it as far down as a C plus. A strong B, solid, solid. Like this season so far has shown that they listen to the fans, they tweaked it a bit, and they're going in the right direction. So let's hope for more of that. And oh, and another thing about this episode that I thought was pretty cool was how they're diving, head first into science and religion. I thought that was really cool because Star Trek is not really a show that dealt a lot with religion. I think that's like a taboo subject. Like, do humans even still believe in God in the 21st, 23rd, or whatever century? Do they really? Sorry. Do they have a faith? It's not something that's discussed too much. And when they do bring it up, they talk about legends, the old Earth legends, old Earth myths. So you get a sense that humans have moved beyond religion, and you kind of still get a sense of that through Pike, where his father taught science, but also taught theology, and you don't really know what Pike believes himself, which is cool. I don't need to know. But I thought it was cool that they brought that up and they tried to marry these two ideas in how respectful Pike was of these people on this planet who did have a faith, who did have a belief in something. I think that's bringing Gene Roddenberry's vision of unity to the next level, which is even accepting and allowing for people's faith values, including humans, to be important to them, right? Because I think sometimes that's missing from Star Trek. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, of course, went very much into faith and religion, but not human faith and religion, right? More the emissaries and the Bajoran faith and all of that, which was cool. I loved it, but very, very courageous and brave of Star Trek Discovery to bring it from a Christian, well, on that planet they had made an amalgamation of all faiths: Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Shinto, I believe, Buddhism, Wicca, which was cool. So yeah, hooray for championing Wicca. I have a few very good friends who are Wiccan, and I love them to death. So cool. Points to Discovery for that. Now, moving ahead, I really hope Star Trek Discovery continues doing what it's doing right now. We got the long arc, which is trying to find out what these stars are. But I also think, and I said this in the last episode, that what do we have 16 episodes this season, something like that. I think they added a few more than last season. Take a breather sometimes. You don't have to follow this arc completely. You can uh, take a breather and just have a bottle episode. That just starts and ends, and you get your money's worth for just that one story. I don't think you have to. Uh, what do you call it? You have to follow it completely. Let me see here. How many episodes we got? We got 1, 2, 3. Looks like Georgiou is back for episode 3, Point of Light. 4, and Umbo for Sharon. And then we got Saints of Imperfection coming up. That's episode 5, 6, 7, 8. If memory serves, maybe Tyler will show up in that episode. I'm on IMDb here. And then we don't have names or information on the other episodes, but it looks like 14 it's saying here on IMDb. In season 1, we only had how many? Oh, we had 15 episodes season 1, so I gotta find out here. How many episodes? How many episodes in season 2 of Star Trek Discovery? You love Google? Well, 14, yeah. It's been extended to 14 episodes. Uh, has been in July. The season was confirmed to premiere in January 2009. Star Trek: The Star Anson Mount revealed in December that the season has been extended to 14 episodes to allow CBS to amortize the cost of production delays following the showrunner changes. So that's cool. We get 14 episodes, but season 1 had 15. So I guess it was gonna be less, maybe 12 episodes, and then they extended because I thought when I read that it meant more episodes than season 1. So all right, 14 episodes is a lot of time to tell a lot of story, and you don't you don't have not to necessarily go deep into that Angel whatever storyline every single episode, and I hope they don't. I mean, there's a chance we're going to be seeing some Klingons. I don't know how Klingons would play into this. We're definitely going to see Giorgio, whatever, and a host of other characters that don't necessarily fit into the arc. So do that, Star Trek Discovery. Yes, I know you can hear me, the producers of Star Trek Discovery, and hopefully it will only improve like most Star Treks have. I mean, aside from the original series, which had one of the most amazing first seasons ever. If you ever want to watch really good Star Trek, watch Star Trek season one, the original series. There's a few clunkers in there, but 90% of those episodes are absolute classics. Every other Star Trek has been really bad. The first two, even some of the third season, but Star Trek, like I said before, season two of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Come on, horrible. Slightly better than season one. Season three is when you start to see the beginnings of what Star Trek: The Next Generation would become. Star Trek Voyager, again, well, some people don't like the series at all, up to season seven. But season one and two are nearly unwatchable. I mean, it's very safe, very like, what's going on? Am I even watching this? The characters aren't really gelling. And then what about season three again? Is when, boom, I think when Janeway puts her hair down, that hair bun down, lets loose a little bit, the show really gets going. When Riker gets the beard in TNG, I think is a good marker for when the show gets good. And when Cisco loses his hair, when he goes bald, that's when DS9 gets really good. But again, around season three. Season three is the least uneven of the first two seasons. Season one and two are there's some really good episodes. Season one and two of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. That's the only problem with Star Trek Deep Space Nine. That unlike Voyager and TNG, you really have to watch season one in order to get all the character arcs and connections that come from season three onward, especially season four when they really get into the Dominion War. Um, so you kind of have to sit through some of the crap episodes, which sucks. Um, but if you're gonna watch a whole series like Deep Space Nine, which is so ahead of its time for being one of the first series that required you to tune in every week to know what's going on because we don't have a reset button. So if you've made a commitment to watch a series like that, you might as well just struggle through the first two seasons, and you'll thank yourself later because it's an awesome series. Haven't finished Enterprise yet though, so I know a lot of people say the last season when it got canceled was the season that was really awesome, but it didn't really catch my attention too much. I think I watched most of season one and then stopped, and I haven't gone back. So that's my black mark on my Trekkie creds. I have not finished Star Trek Enterprise. But anyway, that's it, guys. Uh, quick recap review of Star Trek New Eden episode. Again, just to reiterate, thought it was a really good episode. Solid. I think I'm being overly critical or more critical of it because of what it tried to do. It really was trying to hit a home run within the this feels like Trek space, and I don't know if it hit it. I think I'm a little bit more lenient and maybe enjoyed some of the episodes that didn't necessarily feel like Trek, and kind of went for its own thing, and I thought it did that really well. Whereas this, it's them trying to find that middle ground, and it feels like they're trying to find the middle ground. It's not coming off as naturally as it did when they were just like doing whatever the hell they were doing, you know, for better or worse. So we shall see. I can't wait to tune in next week. Thank you all for listening, and I will be back next week, hopefully on Thursday and not on a Saturday. But I got kids, so you can't always. You got to go by their schedule. All right. What do I want to say? Live long and prosper, guys. Live long and prosper. Oh, and I meant to. Oh, I meant to do something really cute at the start. If you've managed to sit all the way to the end, here's a little bit of something for you. See, I was gonna start with the Star Trek Discovery main theme, which is on YouTube. So I hope this has some fair, was it the fair rights bullshit where I can play it and not get sued by CBS. I don't have any money, CBS. Please don't shut down my YouTube channel either. But, there's a little Star Trek Discovery main theme, which I think is pretty. It's not catchy, but it's pretty. Kind of sounds like it's a car commercial to me. Like I'm imagining an Audi or a Saab driving down a European highway. Well, this part makes it a little bit more galactic with the extra, some strings and coming in woodwinds. But then it still has like a Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings feel to it. It doesn't sound Trekky, but it's better than the Enterprise theme song, right? Oh, but this is the best part right here. Callback. Callback. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. All right. See y'all. Bye bye.